So, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hope you're all having a blissful time there, chanting and dancing. Krishna consciousness is joyful. It's a process by which we prepare ourselves to enter the spiritual world. It's a process, it's a joyful process. Susukam kartam avyayam. And it's never ending. And one major part of that joyful process, it's a joyful process, and the most joyful expression is dancing. I want to talk about dancing. Hope you're all spiritually enjoying yourselves there, dancing in Kirtan. What do you do when you go to the spiritual world? When I was being raised as a Christian, there was some kind of idea that when you go to heaven, you sit on a cloud and you play a harp. The angels are doing that. It sounds pretty boring. Hell sounded more exciting. At least all your friends are there. But we know from the Srimad Bhagavatam in various transcendental literatures that in the spiritual world, there are so many relishable activities of which dancing is central. Krishna enjoys dancing with the gopis, with Radharani and all the gopis. And during the daytime also, he dances with his cowherd boyfriends in various playful ways. And then he comes again as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he showers bliss and ecstasy on the whole world by dancing. He asks everyone to dance. There's a passage in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita which describes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing. And this is direct entrance into the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his most blissful aspect, in his most blissful activities. So I'll read that. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went with his personal devotees to see Lord Jagannath when Lord Jagannath arose early in the morning. After seeing Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began his all-encompassing Sankirtan. He formed 7 groups which then began to chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In each of the 7 groups was a principal dancer, such as Advaita Acharya or Lord Nityananda. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu walked from one group to another, inspecting them, the men in each group thought, the Lord is within our group. The congregational chanting made a tumultuous roar that filled the sky. All the inhabitants of Jagannath Puri came to see the Kirtan. The sound went all around the town and everyone came running to see. Due to the forceful vibration of Kirtan, the entire world began trembling. When everyone chanted the holy name, they made a tumultuous sound. In this way, the Lord had congregational chanting performed for some time, and then he himself desired to dance. So far, he's been watching everyone dance. Now he wants himself to dance, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The 7 groups began chanting and beating their drums in 7 directions. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began dancing in the center in great ecstatic love. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remembered a line in the Orishan language, and he ordered Sarup Damodar to sing it. Jagamohan parimunda jau. Let my head fall at the feet of Jagannath in the Kirtan hall known as Jagamohan. Simply because of this line, hearing this line, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was inspired, dancing in greatly ecstatic love. And the people all around him floated in the water of his tears, tears coming out of his eyes so much. Raising his two arms, the Lord said, "Chant, chant," floating in transcendental bliss. The people responded by chanting the holy name, Hari, Hari, Hari. The Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, fell to the ground unconscious, not even breathing. Then suddenly he stood up, making a loud sound. The hairs on his body constantly stood up like the thorns on a shimula tree. Sometimes his body was swollen and sometimes lean and thin. He bled and perspired from every pore of his body. His voice faltered. Unable to say the line properly, he uttered only, Jaja Gaga Parimumu. All his teeth shook as if each were separate from the others. Indeed, they seemed about to fall to the ground. His transcendental bliss increased at every moment. Therefore, even by mid-afternoon, remember that it started just early in the morning, but even by mid-afternoon, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was such bliss, everyone was in such bliss, they went on for hours and hours, and even by mid-afternoon, the dancing hadn't ended. They hadn't taken food, nothing. The ocean of transcendental bliss overflowed, and everyone present forgot his body, mind, and home. And that was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's not just one time. Every time he would dance and chant in public in Puri with his devotees, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be in total ecstasy, and everyone with him was in total ecstasy. And that's what we're aiming at, to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing party. Materialistic people like to dance also, but that's all foolishness. That can't compare with the ecstatic dancing of pure devotees in Kirtan. And it can't satisfy the soul. People enjoy dancing, no doubt, but it's something to do with the body and the mind, nothing to do with the soul. Krishna is dancing. This is Srila Prabhupada here stating this. Krishna is dancing, and every living entity is also dancing. But there is a difference between the dancing in the spiritual world and that in the material world. We also want to mix young boys and girls and dance together because we imitate Krishna. The same thing is there. Krishna is dancing with the gopis. Here in this world also we're dancing in the nightclub and this club and that club. But that will not give you satisfaction because it is imitation. If you want real dancing, come to Krishna. Worldly sense enjoyers, they also like to dance, but they don't get the chance to dance every day like devotees do. Devotees dance in the morning, early in the morning, and in the evening, and as far as possible, as much as possible, in between. By dancing for the pleasure of Krishna, a devotee employs his whole body and mind in devotional service. Just by dancing, we become purified. Isn't that wonderful? We dance, and we're becoming purified at the same time. Srila Prabhupada said that when we chant Hare Krishna and dance, Krishna is also dancing with us. What a wonderful opportunity. Krishna consciousness means dancing back to Godhead. We may think it's like climbing a mountain, struggling, but it's dancing back to Godhead. Happy life. What a happy life. So all devotees should try to dance. Krishna is very pleased when his devotees dance for his pleasure. We have to remember it's for Krishna's pleasure. Krishna says, he told Arjuna, "O Arjuna, I declare the truth that I become purchased by the person who sings my names and dances before my deity form." Srila Prabhupada in one purport said that three things in the Hare Krishna movement are very, very, very important. One of them is dancing in ecstasy, chanting the holy names, distributing prasadam, and dancing in ecstasy. And Srila Prabhupada, we see, he loved to see his disciples chant the holy names and dance in ecstasy. You can see various videos and photos. He stated, an advanced devotee likes to dance and chant with similarly developed Krishna conscious devotees. And Prabhupada personally demonstrated that. You can see the video and the photos. Mayapur Festival, 1976, in the Kirtans. Srila Prabhupada would circumambulate the deities, and then he would come around and pull that big bell. And while the Kirtan, the devotees are jumping and dancing, and they're all in bliss, Prabhupada would ring the bell, and then he'd gradually do it faster and faster. With one hand, he's pulling the bell. With the other hand, he's motioning all the devotees to jump, 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 come on, higher, higher, and higher and faster and faster. And you can see Prabhupada's got this huge smile on his face, and all the devotees, they're all in complete bliss. So Prabhupada, he demonstrated that just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving great bliss to all the devotees by being in bliss himself and encouraging them to dance, so Srila Prabhupada was also doing that. He personally relishing the bliss of Krishna consciousness and enthusing his disciples to dance in great ecstasy. Srila Prabhupada wrote in, where was that? About devotees dancing like jubilant peacocks. At least in India, we see peacocks. Sometimes they're dancing. That's very famous how Krishna and Radharani, sometimes they take the form of a peacock and a peahen and they dance. So Srila Prabhupada wrote that if materialistic persons can find the association of a person engaged in the loving devotional service of the Lord, they become enlightened and dance just like peacocks. We have practical experience of this. Many of our students were dry and morose previous to their coming to Krishna consciousness. But having come in contact with devotees, they are now dancing like jubilant peacocks. Did any of you have that experience before coming to Krishna consciousness? You were feeling dry and morose. Well, now, by Srila Prabhupada's grace, the grace of all the devotees, we all have the opportunity to dance like jubilant peacocks. So dancing for Krishna is not only blissful, but it destroys all inauspiciousness. We can find in the Nectar of Devotion, Srila Prabhupada, taking from Rupa Goswami, quotes the Dwarka Mahatmya about the importance of dancing before the deity. And that is stated by Lord Krishna. A person who is in a jubilant spirit, who feels profound devotional ecstasy while dancing before me, and who manifests different features of bodily expression, can burn away all the accumulated sinful reactions he has stocked up for many, many thousands of years. How many sins have I committed? I don't even know how many lifetimes I've been committing sins. But now we can chant Hare Krishna and be happy, and automatically all sinful reactions are just burned away. And not only that, but the Shastra says that the devotee of Vishnu who dances in joy, not only does he destroy all the inauspiciousness in his own heart, but he destroys all auspiciousness in the earth by his feet, by putting his feet on the earth is relieved of inauspiciousness. Wherever he glances, all directions, the inauspiciousness is removed. And in the heavens, as he holds up his hands, even the heavens are purified. One who dances, these are all quotes from Shastra, one who dances joyfully and with great attention and devotion turns hundreds of sinful births, reactions of sins, burns to ashes. All the sins of those who dance before the deity while playing cartels fly from their bodies like birds. So, as much as possible, all devotees should participate in the dancing. It's not meant to be just for watching. You just stand around and watch others. When devotees are dancing, don't just sit around and watch. That's stated in Shastra, that if you sit and watch while devotees are dancing, you'll be born lame, birth after birth, and we really have to get involved. And also stated in Shastra, when someone's dancing for the pleasure of the Lord, for the pleasure of the deity, no one should come in between that person and the Lord. Krishna likes to see also. If we don't dance, if we think, I don't know, for whatever reason, if we don't want to dance in Kirtan, there's a danger. If we go on day after day after day, then where are we going to get the taste for Krishna consciousness? There's a danger our taste will dry up, and then we'll just come down to the mental platform, which means all scheming and speculating. So we should remember that Krishna likes this. Dancing is also a service. So whatever reason we may have, if we don't feel like dancing, we still try to dance for Krishna's pleasure. Even feeling very enthusiastic, no energy, still somehow just try to move a little bit, the hands and legs, and maybe the neck, and enthusiasm will be followed. And you don't have to be a topmost devotee. There's Krishna will give great taste to those who chant and dance. Even in the very neophyte stage, we can begin to get a taste of the great bliss that Lord Chaitanya came to give. Srila Prabhupada himself said, people should be encouraged to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and try to bring the ecstasy and dance. Even if there is no ecstasy, dance. It will bring ecstasy. Dancing is so nice. Of course, newcomers, guests, those who are quite sick, those who are old, they shouldn't be forced to dance. Although you can try and encourage them in a friendly way to join in. By Srila Prabhupada's grace, I've been dancing throughout most of this life. Now, this body is getting older and less energetic. But as long as there's some life, we can't dance energetically like we used to, or like the young devotees, young body devotees do now. But still, we can try to dance, at least move the hands, something. It's meant for all devotees. We may be very tired. Once devotees, they'd been out in Mumbai city and in the heat, running around all day doing their preaching work. And they came back. Then they came back and they took baths, and they're in the evening kirtan, and they were just feeling drained. And Srila Prabhupada saw that, and he told them that even if you're feeling tired, you should try to dance. And Srila Prabhupada personally set the example so many times, chanting ecstatically for Krishna, even though he was in old age, by external bodily appearance, Srila Prabhupada seemed to be very old. There was one time Srila Prabhupada was very sick. I believe this was maybe 1973, maybe before that. There was Rath Yatra in London, and Srila Prabhupada had just flown a long way from Australia, and he was sick. And they weren't even sure if he was going to go to the Rath Yatra to attend, but he said, no, he came specifically for this, and they thought he'd just sit. And first of all, he sat on the cart. Then practically at the beginning, he came down, said, no, I want to walk. And then he was walking. Then he started to dance. And then he danced for the whole parade in complete ecstasy. And all the devotees were with him dancing, and it was going very slowly. The parade was moving slowly because Srila Prabhupada would just stand in one place dancing for Jagannath. And the police were trying to get the devotees to tell Prabhupada to move, but Prabhupada went at his own speed. So we shouldn't think ourselves too sophisticated or too senior. Dancing is for everyone, young, old, senior. We can at least lift our arms thinking, Krishna likes me to do this. And we should always remember that. Dancing should be in a manner that is pleasing to Krishna. Yes, it's blissful, but our aim is to please Krishna. No, it's not for our own pleasure. So we have to dance in a manner that's pleasing to Krishna. And that means it's not overly athletic or crazy. Srila Prabhupada personally taught how to dance nicely for Krishna in traditional Gauriya Vaishnava style. So you can see that it's not super athletic, but raising the arms, Swami step, he taught. Or dance for Krishna, dance throughout your life, go back to Godhead, and go on dancing eternally. Gauranga Nritya Nitya. Jagadananda Pandit says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing is eternal, and he comes to this world to invite us to join him in his dance. And in the purport in the songbook, Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna, he comes to invite us to join him in his eternal pleasure dance. That means Ras Lila.